Queen City, Nevis. On my way driving to the studios tonight, I could see the lightning flashing, the clouds are there. It's a little bit overcast. For Nevis, it's a kind of chilly night, but it's a welcomed break from the heat that we've been having over the past few days. And so it's a beautiful, beautiful evening. You know, as I drove here and I saw the lightning, you know what I thought? What a wonderful God we serve, you know? How beautiful it is. All that magnificent power that's wrapped up in lightning, millions of volts, millions of amperes zooming across the sky. And I thought, you know, God is so good. He wakes us up every morning. He allows us to sleep. He ensures that we have the things that, you know, we need. And it's always good to, you know, say thanks to God and to give him praise. We just had the passage of the tropical storm. Thank God again that we here in Nevis and in the Federation did not bear the brunt of that storm. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this week's edition of On the Mark. I am your host for this evening, Troy Liebert. The Honorable Mark Brantley, our usual host, he is still out on his little vacation, a well-needed vacation. I think we're going to have a good time tonight. I've walked with, I went into my archives tonight and I brought out some information because I've heard a lot of people talking lately. They're saying it's the political season again. And so there's a lot of talk out there in the air. And, you know, I wanted to go in and get some files because I hear people saying things, and the things that they say, when I think about them, they don't sound so correct. And you know the thing about facts and numbers and so on, once it's done, it's done. And once it's in history, it's history. And the facts are the facts, and none of us can change them. They are what they are. I like to say facts are stubborn things. I think I heard that a long time ago. And so I went back to find some facts, because we got to fact check some of the things that people talking about. I mean, every day I talk to our good people in Nevis. People meet me on the street and I say, why you just bother with them people there, try? I don't have to bother with them things there, you know, because people understand what's going on, you know. People understand. But for the benefit of, you know, those other persons who, you know, they don't have, they're not really following the politics so close, and they might hear something and they might believe that, you know, that is true because I heard it. So we come to correct the things. Anyway, at the top of the show, we always like to welcome in our listeners and now our viewers, because of course On the Mark is streaming live on Facebook. So if you go on Facebook, you type in Von Radio and you'll get to see On the Mark. You look for the link for the live and you'll see me, Troy Liebert, right here, looking at you and speaking to you. And if you don't have Facebook, you're at home and you have your computer, you can go on YouTube. That's www.youtube.com and type in Von Radio. You look for the live stream and you can watch us there. Of course, if you prefer to listen and not watch and you're overseas, you can tune into vonradio.com. We're always on vonradio.com. And if you're in the Federation, of course, you can tune your radios to 860 because it's the, you know, it's the Caribbean's only powerhouse, Von Radio. And we've been here for a very long time doing On the Mark. We're here almost every Wednesday, and the Wednesdays that we're not here, we ensure that we tell you. So Wednesday after Wednesday, somebody is here. And you know, the thing about On the Mark, it is straight talk. It is 2 hours of talk. We get in our callers. We come, we bring things that we believe are of importance to the general public, things that are pertinent to what's going on today, and we take your opinions on board. You know, and it's very, very important. The show was started when the Honorable Mark Brantley was you know, just a concerned citizen. He was not in public life yet, and he wanted to bring to the public a show where he can highlight a lot of what's going on in the community and also give his views. And now that he's in government, he has extended the show, so folks like myself, the Honorable Eric Evelyn, Honorable Alexis Jeffers, who host from time to time, and other folks who have come on and hosted. It's an avenue for all of us to interact with people. And now that we are in government, it is an avenue, and it is an every week avenue that the people of Nevis and the people of the Federation from near and far have an opportunity to interact with members of government. We are not shying away from the radio. We are not here taking 2 hours to just talk. We don't come with a long monologue like some people when they come on the radio. You see them have a big computer up in front of them. So they're on the radio and you can live stream. You see them have a big computer up in front of them and they're reading everything off of the computer and they're monologuing and so on. And no, it's not about that. It's about being able to talk with people. It's about being able to share the things that we are doing. It's about being able to listen to what the people in the community are saying and to interact with them and be able to react to all that people say that they want. So ladies and gentlemen, I didn't do my usual welcome, so let me do it now. I want to welcome in those persons from the Far East, Taiwan and so on. I know we have some college students who are here for the summer, and they're now trying to make their way back over to the Far East for college. There are college students who are here from the US, from the UVI, from University of the West Indies. And from Cuba. I want to wish all of you all the best as you go back to college for whichever semester this is. I know we also have some persons who are going out to college for the very, very first time. And I want to wish all of you the very best. Also, college is a big step, you know, for a lot of you young persons. You've lived at home for most of your life and so on. Or some of you are just out of school a year or two. And it's a big step to go out on your own, or you're going out with a few friends from here in the Federation who are already at college. It's a big step for you. I want you all to make the best of it. I would encourage anybody who is interested, you know, to try to pursue college education. It's definitely a big thing, and if you can do it, you know, you go for it. For those who, you know, don't feel like it's the way to go, consider it. But if you decide, you know, that you want to go in another direction, then more power to you. Also, you can make the best of whatever it is that you're doing. If the world only had one way to work, then everybody would be the same thing, and it would be a very, very boring world. That's why we have choice. And that's why we have such a diverse world, because people can choose to do different things, and people can excel and be good at all kinds of different things, you know. So there's no one way how to do anything. So all our college students who have gone off, I want to wish you all the best and encourage all of you to do the best that you can do. Our folks in New York and Canada, my good friends in Canada, I have some really, really good friends in Toronto. I want to wish you all a very special good night. I know that every Wednesday you tune in to hear On The Mark, and I know you're listening, so big shout out to all of you. In the USA, in New York, I have lots of friends and family in New York, Boston, Connecticut, over on the West Coast, in California, in Texas. We have people all over, you know, in Florida, in South Carolina, North Carolina, Georgia, all over. I want to welcome all of you to the show. Of course, Puerto Rico. I haven't bigged up my friends in Puerto Rico for a while. My good Puerto Rican friends, good night. I know some of you are actually here on island, and I know you're listening, so a special good night to you also. The rest of us here in the Caribbean, you know, welcome. This is our thing, On The Mark. Of course, at the top of the show, we also like to send out birthday greetings to those persons who are celebrating birthdays, persons who are celebrating anniversaries, whatever the occasion, the birth of a child, you know, if you're getting married, whatever it is, we want to celebrate with you. What's the date of today? Today's date is the 28th. A very special person who's having a birthday on the 31st, and I want to send a big shout out to that person. Person knows who they are. They tell me, make sure you don't call my name on the radio, you know. I told them I'm going to say happy birthday to you. They said, make sure you don't call my name on the radio. I don't want anybody hearing my name on the radio. They have some real shy people, you know. They want to walk and they want to talk and they have an opinion and everything, but they don't want to call in and they don't want you to call their names on the radio. So that special person, happy birthday when it comes. Of course, you know, if we have people celebrating, we have people who are mourning. So to all of those who are mourning, you know, the loss of a loved one, a friend, or whomever you're mourning, we also mourn with you here on the mark. My brother Astro, he's still in my prayers, you know, and he's still in all of our prayers. I know the funeral is coming up, the Thompson family at Brown Hill. That funeral is coming up, I think, on the weekend. So, you know, those families are still in mourning. The family of Mary there in Rollins, I was at the funeral last week, and so, you know, we shared a lot of stories and so on. One of the things about when you go to funeral, you get an opportunity to reminisce on some stories, and you see folks who you have not seen in a while, and you know, these are the things that kind of bring us together. Sometimes it takes a little bit of sadness to bring us together. But to all those who are mourning a loss, we here at On The Mark, we mourn with you because we are one family around here. It would be remiss of me if I did not mention the passing of the late Kenrick Georges. Kenrick Georges is one of the musical stalwarts in the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis, and he would have penned the words to the most famous song, I think, in the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis, the national anthem, O Land of Beauty. And he passed away this week. Still was a young enough gentleman, but Kenrick Georges is a tower of a man. Since I was a little boy in primary school, you know, when you go to school, they put the flag up, and they still do it because I go to school and I see it. They put the flag up, and under the flag they have Idris Lewis, because that's the person who designed the flag, and then they have the words to the national anthem, and that's one of the first things that you learn as a youngster when you go to school, and it's very important. And they put the words up, O Land of Beauty, and it was written by Kenrick Georges, and he has now gone on from, you know, from this life into eternity. And I want to send condolences out from all of us here on the mark, and on behalf of myself, to his entire family. The entire federation mourns the loss of, you know, one who has contributed tangibly to the federation. And as long as the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis exists, the legacy of Kenrick Georges will live on. Ladies and gentlemen, you're listening to On The Mark. We are 15 minutes after the 8 o'clock hour. When the lines are open, the numbers to call will be 869-469-1616, 869-469-1700. That's 869-469-1616, 869-469-1700. So, what's on the docket for tonight? Well, since I have responsibility for education, and I had the permanent secretary, Mr. Barrett, and the principal education officer, Ms. Claxton, here with me last week to talk a bit about education. They spoke about the back to school program that we were having for the teachers. That got going on Monday at the NEPAC with a very, very lovely ceremony. I had the privilege of addressing the ceremony, and not before I left home to come here to the studio, I actually saw a bit of that address on NTV. And I spoke a little bit about some of the things that we want to do in education, some of the improvements that we want to make in terms of the physical, because that's one of the things that the government can do to really assist our teachers, you know, to really make the environment that the students come to learn in the best environment possible. So I spoke a little bit about some of the upgrades that we wanted to do. Of course, if you've been driving around Nevis, you would know that we have major work happening at the Charlestown Secondary School. We took the bathroom out, the female bathroom, and we should be getting that bathroom back for Monday. So hopefully all will be in place by Monday. I've been given the assurance that everything should be in place for Monday when we welcome our students back out to school. Of course, you know, it's construction, and construction does take time. Sometimes it's touch and go. So we're hoping that that would be in place for Monday. We took off the roof off of what used to be the original sixth form, and it's now learning support and some other things that happened up there. We took off the roof from that, and we're putting on a new roof, and that is progressing at pace. At the Ivor Walters Primary School, we took off the entire roof of the Ivor Walters Primary School, and the new roof, they seem to be well on their way, and they should be ready for Monday. I was given the assurance again by the contractor that he's working day and night, I was told, and I have every reason to believe him because, you know, he's a man of God. So I have every reason to believe him that he's going to be on time with that construction. At the Gingerland High School, we've renovated the first form block and the integrated science block. As a matter of fact, the integrated science lab has been completely gutted, and the students are going to have a brand spanking new lab. I think all of the classrooms are going to be ready for the opening of school, and the lab will probably take another week or two to get that fully ready. But by the time the students start getting into doing labs and so on, the new integrated science lab should be in place. We've also refurbished the main computer lab at the Gingerland Secondary School. So when the students come out on Monday, they're going to have a brand spanking new computer lab. And I know the principal, she's very pleased about the work. I've been there. I've seen the work that's been done on the new computer lab, and it's the difference between night and day. What was there before and what is there now. So we're really doing some upgrades, and I want to say thanks to all of the private contractors who have been working really, really hard. I want to say thanks to all of the workers, the tradesmen and the laborers who are going out there, and they're really, really putting in that effort because they know that it's about our children. They know that we want these things ready for Monday morning when school open. And so whenever I go on the various sites, I can see that the workers are putting in that extra effort. And I want to register my thanks here on the radio here and on the mark for everybody to hear, because I think they are doing an excellent job. Some of them might still be working all now. It's 21 minutes after 8. But such is the importance of the work that is being done. And, you know, there's nothing that is too good for us to give to our children. And I think that is very, very important. Ladies and gentlemen, I've been talking for quite a while. It's 20 minutes after the 8 o'clock hour. The lines are now open. The numbers to call, 869-469-1616, 869-469-1700. So the lines are open. Let's see who's going to be our first caller for tonight. I hope that there are lots of people out there listening, and I hope that there are lots of people who are going to be calling in, because there's a lot of things happening out there in terms of government, happening out there in terms of politics. I don't necessarily want to be the one to throw everything on the table, but of course there are some things that will be thrown on the table. I think the news is out that the NRP have decided that, you know, for the third election running, they're going to send a new candidate at the Honorable Mark Grantley. They would have tried Mr. Hensley Daniel. He didn't work. They would have tried Roberto Hector. The federal elections, last federal elections, he didn't work. And I understand now that I wonder if I could call him my good friend, because we get along. He's somebody who I like, you know. We get along. Okay. Yeah. Mr. Kelvin Daly, I heard that he has announced that he is going to be the new candidate for the NRP in Nevis 9 in the federal election. So I want to welcome Mr. Daly to the politics, and he's going to have to contend with the Honorable Mark Grantley, who has been winning that seat consistently and has been winning the seat by bigger and bigger margins every time. But, you know, somebody sent me some information this morning, and it was just a little clip, a little excerpt from Dr. Daly, who, and I need to get it correct, Dr. Daly, who was on the radio. I think they do a radio show sometime in the week, and you know, he made some comments about the education, about the pass rates in the schools. I think he was talking about CSEC or CAPE or something like that. I think it's CSEC, but he spoke about the fail rates going up and the pass rates going down. Now, I don't know where the information came from, because if you look at what's been happening, I mean, if you've been listening, you would have known that, let's say, for instance, the Gingerland Secondary School. Gingerland Secondary School was a top school in the Federation last year in terms of pass rate. Okay? They had a pass rate of above, I think, 90%. So how can you say that fail rate is going up and pass rate is going down when one of our schools was a top school in the Federation? Charlestown Secondary was not too far behind. I think their pass rate was somewhere on the order of about 85 to 86%. I do not have those particular numbers in front of me, but I know that it was in that region. Now, for this year, the Gingerland Secondary School, they are not the top school in terms of percentage pass rate, but they were the second, they were the runner-up school in terms of percentage pass rate. So they're still up there. Charlestown Secondary School, down a little bit, but still very, very high pass rate. So I don't understand why anybody who is thinking, hey, I'm going to offer myself up for public office, And the very first thing that they're going to choose to do coming in is to start to criticize the education system, start to criticize the teachers, start to criticize, the students who are doing exams in an attempt to get at what? Politics, to make politics out of it. I mean, we got to kind of understand where the issues are and where you can make issues out of. Of course, if you're in opposition, your job is to oppose. Some people don't have any other, what you call it, employment. Some people don't have any other employment, so they have a lot of time on their hand. They can go around, they can research, all kind of things. And so they spend all day, all week, as a matter of fact, researching, going through this, going through that, so that on whatever day they decide to go on the radio, they come with a whole big paper in front of them and start to talk. But if you're going to talk, do proper research. And if you're going to come out and you're going to say, look, I'm offering myself to people, then know what to be critical about. Because guess what? What you're going to say? Mark Brantley is the Senior Minister of Education. So you're going to say, I'm running against Mark Brantley, so I'm going to go talk about education. Troy Liburd is the Junior Minister of Education. He's the one directly responsible for education. So I'm going to go out and I'm going to attack the schools and I'm going to say that the fail rates are going up and the pass rates are going down and the government is doing a poor job. I mean, seriously? For somebody who says that they were a past educator, and I don't have anything personally against the gentleman. As I said, I like him. I think we get on very well. I would say here on the radio we are friends, But you're going to come out as your opening theme, and you're going to take a knock at the teachers, because really and truly it's the teachers who you're taking a knock at, because Mark Brantley is not in the classroom teaching. Troy Liburd is not in the classroom teaching. So if you're saying that the fail rates are going up, or if you're saying that the pass rates are going down, then who are you really attacking? Who are you attacking? And I am saying that, I don't believe that that is the way to go. You would never hear me come out here and try to attack any teacher or try to attack any students, especially when the facts do not bear out the things that we are saying. Everybody around here knows. Everybody knows. 20 years ago, I think that's when I was coming out of high school. So let's go back a little bit further. 40 years ago, people used to be in school, people used to pass 3-4 subjects, and you hear everybody say they're bright, and they go out to work, they get a government job, they got to be a teacher, they got to be this, they got to be that. They go off to college. 35 years ago, people maybe pass 5 subjects and so on, and that's the norm. 30 years ago, people passing 6 subjects, 7 subjects, that's the norm. 20 years ago, people passing 7 subjects, that was excellent. People passing 8 subjects, that was excellent. 9 and 10 subject was off the charts. 20 years ago, that's when I was coming out of high school. If you had 8 subjects, everybody say you are a bright, bright person. If you had 10 subjects, you are a bright, bright person. Nowadays, children passing 12, 13, 14 subjects. 8 subjects and so on is common. You pass 8 subjects now, nobody is saying that you're bright, 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 bright. Because what? People passing 12 and 13 and 14. It's not that the subjects are getting any easier. They're not getting any easier. It's not that CXC standard is dropping. The standard is not dropping. No. we are progressing as an island. We are progressing as a federation. We are progressing as a region. The delivery of teaching is getting better. The delivery of education is getting better. We have more access to technology. Students are able to do more. They are able to maximize their time better. The mistakes that we used to make 20 years ago, we are not making them now. So over the years, we have seen the trend that in terms of education, things have been getting better and better over time consistently. And if you look at it on the scale that I have just looked at it, you would have to agree. If we're going to go by pass and fail, and by subjects and so on, you would have to agree that the system is getting better. The system is improving. And I am not saying that when CCM was in, that, oh, the system improved under CCM, NRP got in and the system went backwards, and then CCM got back in and the system started to improve again. No, I'm not saying that. I am saying that consistently, over the years, the system has been improving. Regardless to whether it was CCM in government or NRP in government, even though we all know that the majority of the time it's been a CCM government that's been at the helm. I'm just putting that out there. Those are the facts. Those are the facts. But for somebody to say that, hey, I'm introducing myself to politics and I want to put myself out there, and the very first thing that they're going to do is to come on and to try to attack the teachers, I believe that it's a first step backwards instead of making a first step forward. You know? And some persons have come to me and they've said, where are they going with whomever? And I've said, well, we should not have that approach. You have to give people an opportunity. And I have said to people, listen to them, hear what they got to say. I am one who believes in listening to people. I come here on the radio every now and again, and I hope that people listen to me. And I hope that what I say, you know, brings some enrichment, you know, to the discourse that's happening in the Federation. But for people to come out and just decide that the first thing we're going to do is to attack education. And I'm staying on it for a while because I've been charged with the duty of education. And so it's my duty to look out for the teachers, you know. And I'm not going to have anybody lambasting them. I mean, we have intelligent people. We have people with good ideas. We have smart people working in education. I mean, I've sat down with some of our officers in education, and they have said to me, you know, Minister, we're going to make you look good because we know what we're doing. They have said that to me. And when I look at them work, and I see the ideas and the things that they're bringing to the fore, I understand what they're saying. And people deserve the opportunity to work. So it's not for me to go there and try to bulldoze everybody and say, well, you're going to do X, Y, Z, you know, and this is how it's going to be, how it can't work. No. And one of the things that we have to be careful of, you know, if you're having a conversation with somebody, and the two of you are just individuals having a conversation, it's not like I own the company and I'm dictating to you and you're my employee. We just having a casual conversation out there in the community. and the person want to do all the talking, them one. In our own colloquial Nevis twang, I'm going to say it in our own colloquial Nevis twang. The person want to do all the talking, them one. Right? In our own Nevis colloquial twang. And every time it's an opportunity for you to speak and for you to give your opinion, they don't want you to talk, they want to cut you off. And if you happen to by chance get in to give your opinion, and as soon as you give your opinion, they get upset with you and they start to cuss, then what kind of person is that? You think that's an understanding person? Oh, we have our first caller for tonight. Caller, you are on the mark. Good night. Yes, caller? Hello? Okay, we seem to be having some difficulty. All right, ladies and gentlemen, you're listening to On The Mark. I'm Troy Liburd. I've been here talking away. The lines are open. The numbers to call, 869-469-1616, 869-469-1700. We just had an attempt at our first call. We missed a caller. Caller, please call back in. We are here and we are happy to get, whatever you want to bring to the discourse tonight. So the lines are open. We have our first caller for tonight. Caller, you're on the mark. Good night.
Hi, good evening. How are you?
I'm wonderful. I love this voice.
Okay. I have a problem.
What's your problem?
Prospect, Ivor Walter School. Okay?
Uh-huh.
I'm a past student of Ivor Walter School. We get lawyers come from the premier. We get the magistrate, Miss Clark. We got Pat Bartlett. We got so many people. You got me myself, because me a businesswoman. I'm come from Prospect School, and I believe that Prospect School has been short-changed. And I'm going to give you my reason.
Uh-huh.
Number one, a couple years ago, the school has been built since 1964.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? And up to now, me not see nothing, no change in the school. More better than anything else. And every time they're going, are you out there? You, yourself, this is your time now, some meeting and you. The roof just come off out and went right over there. I never see my butterfly. Right? Up to now, the school not finished. Why keep waiting? And I'm going to hit you all, Why?
No, hit me.
Yeah, no. What language I'm going to give it to you? I want to give it to you. Every time school closed, they always wait till the last couple weeks before school open to do work on the school. When I go to Charlestown Primary School, yes, they have a big staff, a lot of children. But the head teacher got a big office to himself, the secretary got their own office, and everybody got their own thing. Well, what happened to Prospect School? He had a computer lab there. Where gone? They come out the Prospect School. I'm going to talk in my own colloquial country language. They come out of Prospect School and said, okay, we're building these 2 classrooms temporarily. When I'm looking and expected something to happen, CM back on them, take off the CM roof, put back on the CM thing on them again, start say you do over roof again. So when Prospect School is going to get a school, a real school, the school won't condemn in.
So you're saying that Prospect School is not a real school?
No. Out there is not like a thing. Out there want fixing properly. Out there want properly fixing.
Okay. Yeah. What happened with Prospect School, okay, is that the numbers on the roll at Prospect School have been climbing over the years. With the construction of the housing developments, we've had a few housing developments in the Brown Hill area, and then the big one, which was Cherry Gardens, that brought a lot of people into the area. So the role at the school has increased a lot. The school was built to accommodate a certain amount of students, and it had long exceeded that amount of students. we had a plan that we were looking at to do a new wing at the school. However, at the time, the finances did not allow for the new wing. So the decision was taken to add some temporary classrooms to, to assist with the space. Of course, during this past school year, we had the folks from environmental health, along with folks from the education maintenance team. They went over to the school and did some inspections and so on. They found that we had some issues with rodents and so on, and that, we made some temporary adjustments so that we could finish out the school year. And the decision was taken that at the end of the school year, we would remove the roof because, as you said, the school was built in 1960 something.
Yeah.
Yeah, that we would remove the roof and that we would rid ourselves of that rodent issue, and we would put a new roof on that side of the school. It does not mean that we are not still looking at the new wing. Of course, I think the new wing is a goal that we should really strive to when it comes to the Ivor Walters Primary School, because that school is one of the schools that continues to grow consistently. Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, but that's one of that school that has a farm like nothing, and you could watch the students and them that from the beginning of the school you see all where they come out.
Well,
every one of them. Yes, it is true that listen, a parent might live a butler. She works in town, right? The parents work in town. They bring the child to town or wherever I work, and then they jam the child in Ivor Walters School. And I thought we have boundaries. It seem like we got boundaries. But
boundaries in what way?
Okay. Why should a child got to come from Butlers with the parents that morning and come all the way to Ivor Walters School?
So we have that happening?
Of course. Of course, it happens to different schools, wherever the parents are the closest to them, because Ivor Walters students and them always come out the best students.
We have...
Man, I'll let you get a little talk. Let me put in peace and then I'll listen to you.
Go ahead.
You know, really bother me? Every time school closed, I fly down at Charleston Primary. Every time, you're going to get the licks, not because you just come there, you me a hit. And every time the school closes, straight to Charleston Primary. And some things always happening at Ivor Walters. And nobody has studied Ivor Walters. You know how much noise me make after you see the thing? And up to now, Mr. Libert, up to now, the computer lab can't go back in place. Up to now.
You mean the computer lab at Ivor Walters?
Yes.
But you know that the computer lab is being fully renovated.
Listen me don't know if you can open on Monday. You understand? I'm not sure if that school is going to open on Monday.
Oh yes, the school will be open on Monday.
You can tell me anything. Me go up there all the time.
I left there about 7 o'clock this evening, went home to take a shower to come back here. So I know it's going to be open on Monday.
What about all the nails and the grounds and everything and whatnot and all the cleaning and everything? And all of them they're going to finish on Monday?
Yes, it's going to be spick and span for Monday and ready for our young children.
But Mr. Libert, why every time? My problem is every time school closed, something has to be done at Charleston. Charleston add on.
But they have not added on anything this summer.
No, but I did just been add on the other day.
The office.
Yeah.
Yes, but that was needed. We have to understand that all of our schools, they house, all of our primary schools especially, they house young children. Children are moving in them every single day. You know, you have a residential home, and the residential home has to be maintained continuously. Now, your residential home only hosts you and your few friends who you have, or if you have a lot of friends, your many friends. But think about a school dealing with all of these children going through and through and through, you know, every day, day after day, day after day. Things are going to happen. And so the renovation on the schools and the maintenance of the schools need to be a continuous thing. The problem that we've had in Nevis over the years is that the Public Works Department, they were the ones, they rightfully are the ones charged with maintaining government buildings. But over the years, the Public Works Department, they have been very, very stretched, doing a lot of different things. And so what we've realized is that they have not been able to focus in on the schools in the way that the schools need, you know, that type of focus. So the schools became something where every few years, when things really get bad and the teachers really complain, that we would have the Public Works Department reacting to those things because they're not in the schools every day. So what we did was that we took a decision to get a maintenance team, a small team in education, that this team can now be a proactive team. Of course, when they have big issues to deal with, then they can call in the Public Works, or they can get like a private contractor to come in and assist with the bigger work. But with the smaller things that they can react to quite quickly, they can deal with those. And what they can also do is things like preventative maintenance, because they are going to be in the schools, you know, all day, every day, all year round. Albeit that it's not that they're going to be in every school every day, but their job is to move around through the schools all throughout the year. So we'll have work happening continuously in the schools throughout the year. And once we get to the point where we are able to repair the things that are wrong with the school, and we have the schools in a good position, once we continue to maintain them, then the work will not be as much. So that's the whole reason for the maintenance team. So it's not that we are not putting things in place. We are just putting things in place. But it's just that we are so far behind the 8 ball in terms of the upkeep of our infrastructure that it's a lot of work. Just this evening, for instance, I'll give you an example. Just this evening, we have some work being done down at the Charlestown Secondary School, in the area of the main office, right next to the hall. There's an area under there that is being repurposed for some offices, okay? And when the guys started to do the work and they started to pull off the wood and so on the wall, I happened to be there because I've been making the rounds to all of the schools to ensure that they're going to be in a position to open on Monday. I happened to be there, and when they pulled the walls off, what did we find? A lot of termites and so on infesting the wood, and nobody could have seen that from the outside, that there would have been so much termites. So something that they probably anticipated would have taken them maybe a day or two to get done is now going to take them maybe 3-4 days, maybe a whole week to get done, because they had to break down a lot more than they were anticipating that they would break down. But this is the nature of renovation, and that's why we have to continuously maintain the schools so that we are not put in that position. Okay?
Mr. Loibod, I am telling you about Ivor Walter School. I am not satisfied neither with the grounds nor nothing over there.
It's a work in progress.
Change.
But Godmother,
Change.
my lines are lighting up now, right? You get the ball rolling, so all the lines are lighting up now. So I want you to give somebody else a chance. But yes, I want to call back because you're making some good points. Let's go back to the lines. We have another caller. Caller, you're on the mark. Good night.
Blessed evening, my beloved.
Blessed evening, brother. How are you?
African ancestors. Brother, how are you?
I am wonderful.
And the family?
Very, very good. It's a beautiful night in Nevis.
Let me say blessed evening to Brother Mark Bradley and to the people of Nevis and the entire federation. Now, brother, you're speaking about education.
Yes.
But I know we have come a long way as a people, but in some areas, beloved brother, we are still doing a recursion from the British. That's what we inherit from the British. Because, brother, for example, our history, beloved brother. Most of it still start on the plantation. And we are more than that. We are the people who give this world civilization, African people. But our education system, right, in St. Kitts, and the rest of the Caribbean and the African continent too, beloved brother, supposed to be African-centered, beloved brother. Must be African-centered. And along with that, maths and engineering, beloved brother. We must have a program, STEM, science, engineering, and math. And its structure, beloved brother, all those structures that been there for like 50, 60, even sometimes more than that. But where we can demolish and build up, but because we must make the condition very comfortable for our children. Air condition. Not our children is sweating. Cannot learn like that, beloved brother. Our children cannot learn like that. So we must make the condition very, very comfortable. Air condition, every school in the Federation must be air conditioned, beloved brother. Now, I'm not talking about to waste now, leave on the air condition when nobody is there. No. Excuse me, it must be controlled, beloved brother. Nutrition, I mean, in the schools, I know some schools, they give, school meals. They must feed our children the proper way, brother, not just the salt and sugar food and, make our children get diabetes, if not now, later. So all of that must come into consideration, beloved brother.
And you're making some excellent points, because these are exactly the type of things that we are trying to do. We're trying to teach the youth at a very young age about proper dieting and so on. As a matter of fact, we have the school meals program. We've recruited in the government, through the Ministry of Health, we've recruited a chef, and that chef, his responsibility is to go around and he plans the what they call it, the menu. He goes around to the various schools, to the cooks at the various schools, and they have lessons and so on. So we are really trying to put the things in place. As a matter of fact,
that's good, beloved.
we had
those food. Go ahead, beloved.
We had some consultants come in. I think it was sometime up in last year, and they had gone to many of the islands looking at their school meals program. And when they came to Nevis, we got the highest ratings from them, because they said they loved what we were doing in Nevis. And one of the things that we want to try to get going in this school year, we had a very generous donation by Mr. Gaskell. Mr. Gaskell is a Nevisian who has been here for many, many, many years. And he has put some land in place so that we can have a farm that supplies, it was originally intended for the Charleston Primary School, but we're going to try to develop it, and we're going to try to develop other lands so that what we can do is plant the food and then have the food harvested and taken to the schools. So they will be really consuming local, So all of these are things that we are looking at.
Brilliant idea. Yeah, we must feed our children, and all people on the whole, but especially our children in particular, organic food, beloved brother. It must be grown there. So that's a brilliant idea. I hope the federal government, take example of that, beloved brother, and institute that, throughout the federation, beloved brother. So that's a great idea. That's a great idea, beloved.
Yeah. So there are lots of things that are happening that, what we're trying to do is to really prepare this next generation, so that the mistakes that our generation and generation before, my generation would have made, that they're not making the same mistakes. We're trying to cut out all of the sugary drinks, as you said. If not all of it, we're trying to cut it down to a minimum, and teach them about proper dieting and so on. And all of these are part of education. All these are part of good health and good well-being, So we're really trying to do all these things.
Great. Glad to hear that, brother.
Okay.
Glad to hear that, you know? Glad to hear that. And like I say, the federal government must take that example, beloved brother.
Well, I think they're on the same track too. So.
Okay, that's great, you know, because we let down our children too many times, beloved brother. And there's no reason in this modern time we should let down our children. Because, brother, if we don't take care of them from the womb, brother, we're gonna pay a great price in the coming years, beloved brother.
Okay, brother.
The coming years, not 10 years, not 20 years, probably 50 years down the road, and all of that money we're going to be spending for cure makes no sense. That money could be well spent on other things that will uplift our people.
I agree. Somebody uses an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure.
Better than a pound of cure.
Yeah.
Yes, and that's true, beloved brother.
So we're trying to prevent.
You're the Minister of Education, and then you're a young brother, visionary brother, and brother, with the help of others, you know. I know you will do a good job. I want to see that.
I appreciate the confidence, man. Okay? You have a wonderful night.
Brother, yes, sir, you too, brother. Let me say in closing, thanks again, brother. Keep up the great works, beloved brother. I like to hear like young brothers like you, man, with vision, brother. This is what our people need and our federation. Brother, thanks again. Pan-Africanism our perish. Well, no, continue to listen.
All right, brother. Have a good night. Let us stick with the lines. We have another caller. Oh, we've lost that caller. Callers, please be patient. The numbers to call 869-469-1616, 869-469-1700. I know the lines were just lighting up a moment ago, and I expect that our callers will call back in. We have another caller. Caller, you're on the mark. Good night.
Yes, good evening, Troy.
Good evening. How are you?
To the Federation of Thinkers and News. I had to watch the Western and the Martin Friday. They want to legalize the marijuana. And somebody is telling me that going to court because some kind of land is take up with somebody where they're doing some fishing who go to come shark up to Nevis. I hope it's so. All the government going to help Mark can do it. You have a good evening.
You have a good evening. All right? Take care of yourself, okay? All right. Ladies and gentlemen, you're listening to On the Mark. We're coming up on the 9 o'clock hour. We're having a wonderful show tonight, talking about a few different things. We've spoken a lot about education. So yeah, we've been renovating our schools, and since we're on education, I'm just going to stick to this for a little bit. And I am 100% aware that everything is not perfect in terms of infrastructure in the schools and so on. But we can't expect that we're going to build the city overnight. We have a caller. Caller, you're on the mark. Good night.
Yeah, good evening.
Good evening. How are you?
I'm good enough. And you?
I'm wonderful.
Okay. Here's my concern.
Sure.
Oh, I must say one thing first, though. I was very impressed with your address on Monday.
Thank you.
Yeah. You came to the fore.
I feel good to know I can impress you.
Yeah, but there is something you mentioned about comments being made about the dropping and pass rates and so on.
Yes.
And so forth. And I would have been told before by a premier politician in Nevis that we want to make sure that the children learn, and we are not going to be concentrating so much on pass rates.
Mm-hmm.
However, persons who look at it on a broad sheet and say, well, we had 84 last year, we got 83.5 this year, and say that we are dropping, it's a disservice. Because, as you said, it's looking like the teachers are doing the work. And, you know, it's not the way that you want to portray anything. let's say it's not as good as I would like it to be. I could take that comment from anybody because you could like it to be all what you want. But when I've given my 120%, I don't think that I should be condemned for that. And, you know, so we have to be careful with the comments that we make.
I agree with you 100%.
That we make them.
Yeah, I mean, because they can't come out to say maybe they want to be attacking Troy Libert or Mark Brantley because we're not the ones in the classroom teaching the students. So if you make a loose comment like that and say, oh, the fail rate is going up and the pass rate is going up.
That means they mean me.
Exactly. They mean the persons who are in the classroom who are teaching. That is who you're attacking directly. And why would anybody want to attack teachers and the teaching fraternity as a matter of fact? You know, that is beyond me. You know, why anybody would choose to go that route.
I think I got an answer, you know.
Well, what's your answer?
My answer is that some people said they had higher than they themselves can reach.
Ah.
And I will leave it at that. You can comment on it.
Well, I will leave it there too. You know? But, you know, thanks for the call. And I'm very happy that you said that I impressed you. You know, it's always good when you know, it's always good when somebody has made an impact on you. I remember 1998 or something like that. That was a long time ago. But I remember I was sitting down there as a young fellow and, you know, I probably thought I knew more than I actually knew. I actually thought, you know, very highly of myself and so on. And somebody said to me that, you know, you can have all the potential in the world, but if you don't translate your potential to ability, then it's all for naught. You know, and that is something that has stuck with me for, you know, this is how many years after. Sometimes people talking to you and they feel like you're not listening, you know, and they're giving you advice and they feel like you're not taking the advice, but the advice sticks with you. And that is advice that has stuck with me over the years. And basically, you know, what the person was trying to say is you could have all the potential in the world, but if you don't work hard, to ensure that you're good, or you are as good as you can be in whatever it is that you're doing, then it's all for naught. You know, it doesn't make any sense for you to have all the potential. You can be, let's say you're an athlete and you have the potential to be a world-class athlete, but you don't want to train hard. You want to goof around and so on. And you make it mid-level, and then that's it. You know, you could have been the next Usain Bolt. Or even closer to home, you could have been like Kim Collins, you know. And if it's in academics and you decide, you know, you have potential, you can do the work, but you decide, hey, I'm going to go to school and I'm not going to pay much attention. Then if you're not going to pay much attention to the work, then when the exams and so on come, the results is going to show the work that you put in. And if you don't put in much work, you're not going to get much out of it. So that was basically the advice that I got, because maybe somebody saw that I was slacking off and maybe saw that I had a little bit of potential, and they gave me the advice, and I have taken the advice to heart. And some 20 years after, I still remember getting the advice as if I was getting it today. So I want to thank the caller for the advice, and I want to thank him for calling in just now, you know. So yeah, I don't think that, you know, it's a wise step for anybody. And, you know, if you're going to come and say you're offering up yourself to the public, I mean, how many teachers we have in Nevis? We have a lot of teachers. I was at NEPAC on Monday for the back to school and the hall was, Nipak Hall was full. Nipak Hall hold 360 people, you know. And if you're gonna come out and say that these 360 people, you know, doing a poor job, or somehow they're not doing their job, then what you really saying? Because some of these teachers try hard. They go the extra mile. They stay in school late at afternoons to work with the children. They're home in the night, marking papers, preparing their prep. You know, they're working really, really hard. And for somebody to just come out and say, oh, the system is going backwards, you know, it to me, is a disservice. I mean, if you want to cuss, or if you want to say, Trial Library is doing a poor job, then say Trial Library is doing a poor job. If you want to say Mark Grantley is doing a poor job as Premier, then say Mark Grantley is doing a poor job. If you want to say the CCM government doesn't have any ideas to move education forward, then say the CCM government doesn't have any ideas to move education forward. Fine. We are persons who are putting ourselves out there to lead. We are persons, Mark Grantley, his name is going to be on the ballot. Trial Library is ready for his name to be on the ballot at any time. He's not shying away from that, of course. I think I've been ready for a long time. But we are putting ourselves out there in the public. We are public figures. So if you say something about us, you know, it's not a big deal. We don't mind. I mean, coming from who is coming from, it's not a bother to us, because these guys cussed Vance Amri for many, many, many years. And look at Vance Amri, still successful. They didn't learn from that. Now, the big thing, the new thing, is to cuss Mark Grantley every single day. Mark Grantley this, Mark Grantley that, Mark Grantley the other. And every time there's an election, Mark Grantley wins by a bigger margin. So, if you want to add me to the fray, I don't mind. Go ahead. I don't mind at all. But, you know, the politics doesn't have to be vicious. I think I saw where somebody commented on a post on Facebook, and they say, mud sticks to anything that you throw it on, you know? So it shouldn't be about throwing mud, because mud is going to stick. Let us raise, or let us elevate the discourse. So I agree, and I think that person should take their own advice, and that they should let us elevate the discourse, and let the discourse be about ideas. So if you say you want to get into government and you want to run the island, then bring your ideas to the fore. Say what you think the government is doing wrong, and say what you think you would do if you were in. Say what you would do different. We have a call on the line. Let's go to the lines. Caller, you're on the mark. Good night.
Well, good evening, Mr. Liebert.
Yes, good evening.
How are you doing this evening?
Oh, I'm wonderful.
Yeah,
I'm tuning up my voice here tonight.
I think you are in a good position. Something that's been on my mind for a while.
Sure.
I discussed it with Mr. Brantley some weeks ago. And you being the man responsible for education, I want you to take a serious look at the way we're going with academics. I'm sure that you would agree that we're brilliant. We're good when it comes to the academics. I want you to look at the trade side of it, the practical side of it. let's look at it this way. You have students getting all these pass rates. One student would pass 18 subjects, 17 subjects, 12 subjects. I mean, how much of these subjects they need to be able to make a contribution? I am more for the practical side of it. I think we're falling short, way, way, way short on the practical side. We need people in the trades. We need mechanics. We need, well, we aren't doing too badly in the carpentry and masonry side of the building. But like machining, fabrication, that kind of thing. If we have fellas here, and I know the young fellas could do it, I've seen it, but we do not push it enough. We do not push it like we're pushing the academics.
Caller, you are right to an extent.
We are way ahead with academics.
You are right.
I do not see why we keep pushing the academics.
You are right. You are right in an extent. And
when we are so far behind in the trades.
What I will say
we
is
need
this.
to come up to speed.
What I will say is this. Traditionally, the education system in Nevis has been focused on the academics. Even when you get to high school, we do the streaming. The system is streamed. You go to A1, A2, A3, A4. And A1, A2 are normally the classes that go on to do the CSEC or the CXC exams. And those are the students that normally come out and go to sixth form and so on, and then higher education and so on and so on. And then a lot of the other students who are in the third stream and the fourth stream, oftentimes...
Mr. Liebert, you're preaching to the converted. I was in the system. I know what
yeah, well, then I was just...
What I'm saying now is that it was wrong then, it's still wrong now.
Yeah, but I'm just prefacing what I was going to say.
Mr. Liebert, like I said, you're preaching to the converted. I already know all
yes,
that.
but you know, it's a radio show, and it's for the benefit of everybody who's listening.
What I'm saying, to make a difference.
But I was going to tell you how we are making a difference. That's what I was getting to.
That is the issue with politicians, Mr. Liebert.
Yeah.
They need to learn to listen to the masses.
But I'm listening to you.
Well, then, could you allow me, please?
Okay, go ahead and tell me.
You're interrupting my.
Okay, I'm going to listen to you.
What we need is some of the same people who are qualified to go to sixth form, qualified to go into the trades and build.
Yes, caller. I'm kind of losing you. Go ahead. Hello.
To the people who cannot achieve.
Okay.
Because you see, at the end of the day,
caller,
to do this, you need people who...
Caller, 1 second. We had lost you for a little while here, so if you could back up a little bit.
Skills and all that. So don't relegate, because that's what has been happening. Do not relegate the people who would not, the trades and that kind of thing, to people who are not academically inclined. You need sharp people in that area.
Okay, too. So you're going to give me an opportunity to speak now, right?
Go ahead.
Okay. So you've heard about the TVET project that we are doing.
Yeah, Mr. Liebert. I've been hearing about that for ages, and all it is talk shop. Up until now, it's still talk shop.
It's not a talk shop.
Well, there's nothing been done.
No.
All I heard is talk.
You know that it's a CDB project. And so you know with these CDB projects, they take a few years to come on stream.
Well,
and
what is the difference? What is the difference between TVEC? What is the acronym? What does the acronym TVEC mean?
Technical, vocational, education and training.
Yeah. And what does VOTEC means?
Well, I'm not familiar with that one.
Well, there's a VOTEC shop in the Charleston Secondary School.
Okay.
is one and the same.
Okay.
So why leave that there to languish
But it,
without proper facility, without proper tools, without proper this and proper that, without proper organization to start something else?
but we are not starting something else.
That's what you are doing.
No, we are simply going to.
Mr. Liebert, listen.
Uh-huh.
That Vortex shop in Charleston Secondary School is not what it's supposed to be.
Okay, that might be the case, but what I'm saying is that we are going to be upgrading.
Instead of going and investing, start a new investment, something different. Just call it a different name. Why not put that up to standard?
Okay, you see,
it's
right?
supposed to be up to standard.
You see, right?
It's not.
Carla, we can have a one-way conversation, right? You've asked me to listen to you.
But Mr. Liebert, you say is a conversation now.
Yeah, but
so you need to learn to listen to what.
But you have asked me to listen to you. Okay.
Somebody calling, they calling to make.
Yes, but
I'm making the point.
But I've listened to you make your point, and I've asked you to give me an opportunity to speak. That's how the thing got to work. Now, every time I'm listening to you, but every time I go to make a point, you stop me midpoint.
Make your point. Make your point.
The point that I'm making about the TVET is that the TVET is going to do just what you are saying you want us to do. The TVET is going to introduce the qualification that they call CVQ. The CVQ qualification is a qualification that is equivalent to the CXC CSEC, and then it will be equivalent to the CAPE qualification. So CSEC is the O level and CAPE is the A level. So you're going to have O level in the practical skills, the welding and the other skills that you spoke about, the carpentry and all of these different things. They are going to have a level that's going to be equivalent to CXC. They are also going to have a level that's going to be equivalent to CAPE, and they're also going to have a level that is going to be a practical level. So for those students who cannot do the CXC, they will get a CVQ at a practical level. For those that can do the CXC, they will get it at that level equivalent to the CSEC or the CXC. And
well and good.
And then those who would want to go on to do A levels after you would have passed the CSEC level, you will have the same, in the same way that you have math offered to you at CSEC, and then when you get to sixth form, you can do maths at sixth form. It's in the same way that you will have metal working and woodworking and hairdressing and all of these things that they would be offered to you at a level CSEC, and then you would be able to go on and get them at the equivalent of the CAPE level, so that you understand what I'm saying. That is what the TVET project is about. It is not a project. It is not something. It is not something that we have made up here in Nevis. It is something that is coming to us from CXC itself. Okay.
Okay. Well, that sounds good. But
this
my problem, Mr. Liebert, is why is it taking so long? Why is it taking so long?
Sometimes good things take a little while. It's a CDB project, so we have to meet all of the CDB requirements.
Mr. Liebert, but this thing could turn around.
But
Carla, economics, crime.
But Carla, I agree with you 100%.
It could turn around.
I agree with you 100%.
But we need to get it in place.
But that is exactly where we are heading.
You know the reason I'm saying that? I've heard about TVEC from the Honorable former Premier Amri. This is another Premier, the Honorable Mark Brantley. How long is it? 4 years? 3 years?
Oh, Mark?
And
December 2017.
Okay, so 17, 18, 19.
It's a year and a half.
Okay, and
we're having so much fun that you move so far ahead.
What the point I'm making, Mr. Liebert, is that I've heard about TVEC from the Honorable Vance Emery. So call it 5 years to be generous.
Okay.
And in another year and a half. I mean, what's taking this so long? It's taking a while. It needs to be put in place.
And I agree with you on that.
You know, I find with the system around here, and it's probably let's say let's say, and I have this, I could say the credit union, because I'm a member of the credit union, and I've been, they are going to give a scholarship, and they're going to give a scholarship to the best student. A student who is naturally academically inclined. And a student who is slower, who really need the help, they don't give it to them. So they keep giving to the best all the time, right? And the one that need the encouragement don't get it. And I do not agree with that. I believe the slower ones are the ones that need special help. And those are the ones that need special help.
And if you see, I was just at the teacher, the welcome back for the teacher, and one of the things that they're talking about is differentiation in teaching, and what they're trying to teach students now. And with the new curriculum, one of the things that is being implemented is dealing with students on their levels. It's to teach the teachers to deal with students on their level. So you don't just go and teach the class as a whole, because everybody in the class cannot learn at the same rate.
That is a good.
It's being able to identify the students in the class, like a cluster of students. Those learn at a faster rate. So for those, you would go around and teach them in a certain way, and there would be others who need a little bit more attention in certain areas. And these are the kind of things that we are looking towards.
That is a good point. And I've always believed in that.
Mm-hmm.
I've always believed in that. Not because a chap might not be able to read as fast as the other guy. Look and see where he's strong.
It does not mean that it does not mean that he's not intelligent, you know. It just means that he's a little bit slower.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Look and see what is his strong point and assist him in that area. Push him in that direction.
Okay, caller. We've had a really long run. The lines are lighting up. I would really love it if you call in again, because you've made some really, really good points. Okay? Let's go back to the lines. We have another caller. Caller, you're on the mark. Good night.
Hi, good evening, Troy.
Good evening.
Sadio calling from...
How are you, Sadio? I always recognize your voice, you know. How was the dance?
Well, no, the dance is coming up on the 31st.
Oh, it's the 31st.
Yes.
Man, I need to make it to New York.
Right, always the Saturday night before Labor Day.
Yeah, I need to come to New York for Labor Day.
2543 Marion Street, and music by Universal Expression and DJ Sister C.
So Sister C is going to be in the house. Yes, go ahead.
Yes, Sister C will be in the house. Now, I've been listening, to different talk shows, right?
Mm-hmm.
And some people have an issue, with the way that you have outsiders want to come in and control what's going on in Kingston Mead. And I listen, and ever so often there is about blacklisting, with even investors and banking and whatever it is, and people moving around. And people have to realize America, England, and other European countries, they are in competition with St. Kitts and Nevis for the CBI,
mm-hmm.
right? And some of these countries where I'm hearing that St. Kitts and Nevis should not do business with, like Yemen and, some of those countries. And these people are coming in here to America with loads of money and open up business the same way. And these are the same people, from Iraq and wherever it is. There's a war going on, so people are moving, come in with with cash, a whole heap of money. But they are preventing them, they are asking the St. Kitts and Nevis not to accept the same people that they are accepting here. I go around and I see the stores. I'm in the business. I'm in the real estate business, and I see who buying and who opening stores. and they are coming straight from the Middle East, and these are the same people we are told that we shouldn't do business with.
Yeah, you know, Sadia, the thing about it is that the big is always going to dictate to the small.
Yes. And they keep moving the goalposts for St. Kitts and Nevis, you know, with this banking system and blacklisting the country from time to time. So I know for St. Kitts and Nevis especially it's a hard time because it's competition. And they don't feel right. They don't feel it's right that St. Kitts and Nevis is the country that led the way to, you know, so now they're banking off the same system and making loads of money, but they are the ones who should have started it. So people need to know, you know, these things, what's really going on, why, you know, down there getting the squeeze from time to time.
I mean,
you know, at all.
The thing is, people tend to want to, if you are considered third world, you're considered dependent and so on. So you get something like the CBI and you start to make cash in the country. We've never really made cash like that before. We were dependent on tax revenues mostly. We have the VAT, we get customs duties and so on. So that is what we were dependent upon. The CBI, what the CBI brought was cash on levels that we've never had cash before. So the country was able to, whoever had access, let me put it that way, whoever had access to the cash were able to do things on a scale that we had never been able to do before. And probably somebody saw that and they really didn't like it. So, they want to keep us, in the same manner that we've been before, dependent. They have nothing to say when we have really, really high debt. Nobody comes to our rescue when we have, when we're in $3 billion debt and those type of things. But as soon as we start to make a little money, then everybody has a problem.
Well, I understand the government, the IMF is not there because they are the ones who will, want to tell you what to do because they took from you before and now they're lending you or whatever it is, they want to really control the island, the country. So it's a good thing that you guys are working and working to really keep the country independent of the IMF because then they will come around and just want to come into your country and tell you what to do. Look at Jamaica. Jamaica will never get away from them. And you guys have been there for a very short while and you have succeeded and you just have to work together and keep it that way. Just keep them out.
Well,
it's wrong what they're doing.
Once you have prudent leadership, then and a government that doesn't, rack up excessive debt, then there's no reason that the IMF is going to have to come in. The EC dollar, as we all know, is tied to the US dollar. So unless we're going to have some big thing where the US decides, well, we're going to devalue the EC, or the US decides that they no longer want to have the EC dollar locked at the 2.67 with the US dollar, and the EC dollar crashes or something like that, then we should not have any issue where we need to go back into the IMF. We now have leadership at the helm that is prudent, leadership that is not racking up debt at a rate that the government cannot pay for it. You see, I have a whole computer in front of me and it has a lot of information on debt servicing and so on, because I came prepared to talk about those kind of things, because there's been a lot of talk recently about 200 million and all kind of nonsense talk, and people come out and they just say, oh, the government is squandering money, without having any facts to substantiate the things that they're saying. And when you look at the history of Nevis, because every single year the budget gets done, every single year the audit department, the auditor general, puts out an audit of the finances of the government, or the way that the government has spent the money over the years. And, you know, the easiest thing for people to do is to just get their hands on a copy of this, of the audit report, or to get your hands on a copy of the financial statements from the Ministry of Finance at the budget. And you would be able to see exactly what's going on. You would be able to see what the government's debt servicing is and all of that. And it's clear to see from the year 2013 up until where we are now that the government has been very, very prudent in its handling of the island's finances here on Nevis. And it's plain to see that on St. Kitts, because they've had, you know, the great share of the proceeds from the citizenship by investment, that the government is in a really, really good position in St. Kitts. I believe that there was a surplus in St. Kitts last year of about $90 million. I mean, where you find government having surplus on their current account?
Yeah, but the idea is, I knew that I had to get money from the treasury the year before, and I know what you got to go through. Nobody can just go in and pick up money and do what they want.
No, not at all.
So by saying throwing away money and whatnot, you know, that don't really make sense. There is a procedure all along. From I was there was a procedure. So, you know, I don't know how you could just say, well, you know, people, you know, taking the money and doing whatever it is, because everybody has to give account. All right, Troy. You know,
okay, you have a good night.
You know, we get the worst end down there, because when we think everybody look at it, we depend on tourism, England dependent tourism, America dependent tourism. What do you think you take back your shirt, I love New York?
You see?
They depend on tourism the same way.
Yes, of course.
Want to put you in a position that you're depending on them.
Lots of people go to New York. I love New York, you know. I love it this time of year. I love it in October. The only time I don't really love New York is early January. Because then it gets really, really cold, you know. But every other time other than that, I love it.
Okay, then.
All right, you take care, Sadio. And everybody else, remember the dance on Saturday night. I wish I could be there. So I've just been given some good advice. They say you're speaking in the Nevis colloquial language too much. Speak some proper English. But I'm a Nevisian, you know. I have to talk like how we talk, you know. So, ladies and gentlemen, you're listening to On the Mark. We are about 35 minutes after the 9 o'clock hour. We've been having a really good show. The lines are open. The numbers to call, 869-469-1616, 869-469-1700. We have another caller. Caller, you're on the mark. Good night.
Good night, Troy.
Good night.
Troy, the Honorable Mark Brantley on tonight?
No, he's not on tonight.
Well, the rest of fraternity in Bastille want to congratulate him for keeping the show again. I think it's a very good gesture, and it only could get better. God bless him, because this country needs to keep people together.
That's true.
Well, I think it's one do Nevis must do. You think it's one keep a show? They're supposed to stop Nevis.
Oh, you're talking about the show for independence?
Oh, yes, man.
Maxi Priest.
Last year I left Bassi and Johnny to Nevis, my father country, and I enjoy it.
For Steel
and
Pulse.
I will come again once life lasts.
Yes.
It was beautiful. Well done at Nipa. And it only could get better.
At the village.
At Nipa. At
Okay.
Nipa.
Yes.
It was, Troy, everybody had a nice time. It was lovely, and the artist was great.
Okay.
Steel Pulse was great. He was good. And Toad World Group.
Yes.
Now I understand today and the news, we're getting Maxi Priest?
Maxi Priest, yes.
And Mark, now what you doing? I hear joker down here in the sugar walker radio station. Them they feel thinking people stupid. We can bust the heart when the bridge bell.
What did Joker say?
We're sending American bridge over there to build the bridge.
Okay.
And we're going to bring St. Kitts and Nevis closer together.
Well, it can only get better, you know.
Well, that's what I'm telling you. You know Mark Brantley and the unity concept, they know what they're doing. And we're going back to no more bad man, you know. No bad man around this country. All I want him to do is carry the money up the cemetery and rest it by the man's grave. That's all I want him to do. Rest the money up by the man's grave. The money is to feed the poor people in the village and fix up the whole MIS hall. Carry the money up the village. That's all, up in the cemetery. That's all we want him to do. Carry the money up the cemetery. It is forwardness. It's forwardness. Well, here act. He wants to know where money be. When the man was there, nobody could ask the man no money. The man take up St. Kitts and Nevis money and give all the indigenous people them. He better behave himself, you know. That two-faced boy better behave himself, you know. Run bring a white man in St. Kitts. Our white boy. Bring him in St. Kitts about marijuana. No white man coming here running the marijuana. White people run the sugar industry for years. And where them St. Kitts and Nevis people get who used to work in the sugar crop? Nothing. He do what he like in all these European money where was sent to the country. They believe people stupid? No, they believe people stupid. Try when you see Honorable Mark Brantley, tell him. The Rastafari fraternity is St. Kitts. Congratulate him, we adore him. And we're coming up in numbers to give support. Have
all right, I think he's listening to you.
Is not stupid.
I think he's listening to you, and I think he's gonna love that.
The people of Nevis is not stupid.
Well, you know that we come in with three.
You know what I enjoy most? To see all the Columbus cat, Irving Ives, Benson, all them man, where would they be in the grave? God bless them. They're smiling over Mark Brantley to see what he's doing. Don't care what they do. They can't stop this train from rolling. The man know what you're doing. Have a good night, Chai.
Okay, you have a good night too. We have another caller. Let's stick with the lines. Caller, you're on the mark. Good night.
Yes, Chai. Good night. The man what I say that we bring in St. Kitts with the marijuana, right? But they had that at a marijuana Friday in town, like they ain't here. So me know how they're going to legalize marijuana. Because the up and down, up and down, up and down. When the crop grow and you want to reach it, then we can see if you want, it's still going to be a lot of problem. So don't legalize no marijuana. Have a good night.
You have a good night. You have another caller? You know, I love this show. I really, really love coming over here and interacting with so many different people, you know, at so many different points of view, because you learn a lot, you know. The people definitely educate you, and it coming on the radio like this and interacting in a call-in forum, and you get to listen to people, it keeps you humble and it keeps you grounded. It's not like some of those radio shows where you have 6 and 7 people come on the radio and all of them come with the computer full of all kind of stuff that they research. And I'm going to apologize to the person who told me that I need to speak more proper English. This is our Nevis English, and I think I'm talking to mostly Nevisians, so I think everybody understands me when I'm speaking, you know. So I like to be comfortable, so I'm going to talk our talk, yeah, you know. Yes. It's not like some of those shows where you have people come on and you have 4 or 5 of them around the table and they want to tell everybody what to think. This is not one of those shows. And when they call in with a dissenting view, they cut you off and they cuss you off and so on, and they tell you all kind of things. We don't do that here. We listen to everybody, and we take all of the different views on board. And so I believe that is the formula for you know, being able to run a good government. That you have ideas, but you don't believe that you have all the ideas or that you have an exclusive on ideas. You allow other people to come in. So people keep coming on the radio to say that, you know, they're opposing, and they keep on opposing in the same way, then I learn, then I improve. They just keep on coming with the same thing. We have another caller. Caller, you're on the mark. Good night.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
How are you today?
I'm wonderful.
Hey, I'm still wondering where Douglas got that figure with the 15 million that he said the Prime Minister gave for the gunmen, them to bring in the guns. I mean, why this man keep making up things?
15, but that's a new one. I haven't heard that one. I must not have been listening.
Since last week, or more than a week ago, he said 15 million got from Development Bank to give the gunmen them to bring in the guns. I mean, and people believe this kind of thing. That is the problem.
I can't really comment on that because I did not hear the statement. What I will say is this. You know, I've been very quiet on this thing about crime and so on, and there's been a lot of talk. A lot of people in the opposition and so on going around and they're saying, well, the government paying people to paying the gangman and paying this and paying that. And you hear that talk going around. And there are a lot of different views on it, right? But what I will say is this. For many years in St. Kitts and Nevis, probably the last 10 to 15 years, we have been in an epidemic of murder and carnage. Young men especially have been dying, killing one another, you know, succumbing to gunshot wounds. And I personally have seen a lot of young men being covered by white sheets. Too many of them. Let me go back to the lines. We have a caller. Caller, you're on the mark. Good night.
Good night to the Honorable Chai. Good night.
How are you, brother?
Oh, man, I'm here hanging in, just listening to the program. I just tune in.
Thank you for staying with On the Mark.
Yeah, Chai, yeah. On the Mark. Very informative. Now, Chai, I know that Nevis people, you understand, are very educated people. You understand? And Nevis people will understand, especially coming into the politics, with the politics. I know that. That's why the system in government. You understand?
Uh-huh.
Because he had some misleaders called NRP. They was trying to mislead the Nevis people with the Dr. Douglas regime. And the Nevis people said, nothing will go so. And as far as I concerned, they got a very long time in opposition. Because, child, let me tell you something. When I listened to the opposition, say they called, I think it was true yesterday, and talking about these young men getting paid to bring in gun. I believe Mr. Daly was there talking. Oh, they're getting paid to bring in gun and this and that and blah, 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 blah.
You sound just like him.
Yeah. Now the Prime Minister and the advisor for the security, Mr. Sanders, come on different radio talk show. And he tell us plain how the young man, they get to the young man them and what the young man them is doing to get together as one.
You know what the problem is? You want me to tell you? You want me to tell you what the problem is?
With them?
The problem is this, and I'm going to tell you. The problem is politics.
Yeah.
These people realize that the young men them trying to come together and they don't want to kill one another or whatever. So the crime rate gone down. So if the crime rate going down and nobody murdering nobody, then they don't have anything to talk about.
Oh,
they're vexed about it. They want things to happen so that they could come out and say, oh, the country not running good. But because that is not happening, they're upset, so they have to come up with things to say. That is what's happening, you know? Imagine people could be vexed about gun violence going down. Just imagine that. And then these are the same people who want to come to people and say, look, vote for us.
Yeah.
Vote for us. And they vex. Vex that people now get killed.
You know how proud we feel when me hear people in Sinkage saying they could walk later night time, even the bus driver them know say that by I feel good driving, I could drive till 1 o'clock in the morning and all. Even the bus drivers them try after some them after 10 minutes to 11 you can't get a bus to go to Plain Town. You understand? When all these things was happening, you don't walk up there, I got to catch bus on the short bus was running late. And because of that, all those things these people see happen under this unity government and support a choice to applaud the government. Applaud, you don't want to applaud the government. Applaud the young man them to bring in the gun and to stop kill one another. They're saying all kind of negative things, so they want to come happen.
That is
you got one of them down there where they abuse. To get the also fixed and nothing do wrong with the also. Try listen me. Nothing wrong with the also.
Yeah, but he not got a problem with getting hero fixed.
He said that he not thank the government.
Oh.
He thanking the man them who do the work. Hey, thanking the government. Thanking the man them who go. The government must fix the also. They must do it. The government no must fix nobody also. You understand? But because whatever people struggling after the hurricane, you know, and people got bad hope and so, the condition of some people, after the hurricane will trouble them. The government, this way they're going to assist. They're going to assist the poor people them. And these people, Lord of mercy, Lord of I don't know what to say, I don't know what to do. But good night, Mortlin. Good night, Hilly. Good night, Sister Clara. Good night, Ruth Lynn Hill. And good night to me, all my fans them in Nevis. I want to wish you a wonderful time, man, because election coming up soon and I'll be vocal. Get behind CCM. Get behind the big blue.
Big blue machine.
The big blue machine. Sure, you have a wonderful night. God bless.
You have a wonderful night, brother. You know, this thing is just... I don't even know what to say about this thing. So the government has put some initiatives in place, you know, to reach out to young men who are probably on the fringes of society, who everybody like to say bad things about and go out and talk and say, oh, people in gangs and gang violence this and gang violence that. So some things have been put in place to reach out to these young men. Hard to reach. And so they're not running around and just shooting up one another and so on, and we don't have mothers crying out and so on, and sisters and so on. I remember, I think, the last murder that happened in Nevis. I remember I went down to the scene because what? A cousin of mine, close cousin, somebody who I talked to, you know? And these are never ever good things. And so anything that we can do to prevent these things from happening, we need to do it, and all of us need to come together as a people to do it. This is one time, when it comes to crime, we should say no, a moratorium on politics. No, politics must be involved in this. You know? Not have people, because they realize that some headway is being made, they have to come out and make politics out of it. No, they should be happy. I mean, you don't have to congratulate the government. You don't have to say, oh, the government is doing a good job. No, you don't have to say that. But at least say, let us all try to support whatever initiative is in place. Let us all try to support these young people. Because as I said before, and, you know, I was in the house, and I was talking about the role that education has to play with you know, stopping the cycle of violent crime and gun violence and so on. And I said that I have never met a gangster. And I said that I have never met a bad person. And it became a clip that everybody have on their phone as a ringtone and all kind of thing, because I said that every time I talk to a young man and I tell them, well, I hear that you're involved in this, or I hear your name calling in that, they tell me, no, not me. It wasn't me. It's somebody else. You know? But these are the things that I have heard. I myself am a young person, so I interact with a lot of young people all over the island. Sometimes people come to me, they reach out to me, and they ask me to assist them with this, or they ask me to assist them with that. Sometimes young men come to me and they tell me, look, I have a problem. Can you assist me with this? I believe that people are after me and those kind of things. But anytime you ask anybody about anything to do with any gang, they say no. And you know that if you go to the parent of somebody who people say that person is a gangster and everybody saying, oh, he's such a bad person. If you go to the parent of the person, the mother might tell you, look, that's my most respectful child, not him. He's so mannerly. I could send him anywhere. You know? So people have different experiences with folks. And sometimes when you see some of these fellas, as we just say in Nevis, colloquially, they look like they can't mash ants. You know? And then you hear stories. So if the government has found a way, and if the government has put an initiative in place, and it seems to be working, knock on wood, let us hope that it is actually working. Let us hope that whatever gains we are seeing can continue. Let us hope that it continues to the end of 2019. Let us get into 2020 and let us hope that it continues in the same way throughout 2020. Let us hope that it continues into 2021. And so on and so forth. And then let us hope that the young people who are coming up, the young persons who are in the primary schools and so on, that they're not going to be exposed to these influences, to people who are going to try to steer them into gangs or into violent crime. Let us hope that the things that we are doing can lead us to permanent solutions that will break the back and break the cycle of violence. Because that is ultimately what we need to do as a nation. Violence does not help anyone. You know? And every one of us, each and every one of us, regardless to what our politics is, should not want this. So if we were in opposition, God forbid, because, you know, we can't afford for those people to go back into government. But if we were in opposition and the government had somehow come up with a plan to curb violent crime, and we would say, hip hip hooray, we would say, take win on that, and we would say that it's good for everybody in the island. That's what we would say. Nothing is wrong with saying that. Because it's not about politics or politicians. It's about the country as a whole. It's about these young people. It's about the future generations of young people. We don't want a Nevis that is territorial. We don't want a Nevis where some people can go on some other turf. I mean, what is turf? Nevis is too small for turf. You leave from market shop and you start to drive, go police station way. And if you lose your train of thought and you're just driving, you're in Butlers in no time at all. And if you continue to drive 5 minutes after you're in Newcastle, 5 minutes after that again, you're over in Cotton Ground. And then another 5 minutes after you're in town. And I'm not encouraging anybody to drive fast. Take your time on the road. But I'm just saying that Nevis is too small for turf. If something is happening in Newcastle, everybody should be able to go. If something is happening in Coal Hill, everybody should be able to go. I normally keep a Christmas party in Coal Hill sometime during the Christmas season. And it's a huge party. And I would like to see a bigger party this year once we get it to come off. Because I want people from all around the island to feel free to come. Nevis is too small for turf. St. Kitts is too small for turf. So, if there are initiatives in place, and the initiatives seem to be getting some positive, why be upset about it? Why? Many different things have been tried over the years, and they did not work. So if something is working, why you have a problem with it? Why you want to use crime for politics? Go out and find issues. Go out and say Troy Libert is doing a poor job in so. He should have been doing this. If I become the minister, I will do this. Troy Libert is not representing whoever. Go out and say Mark Grantley is not representing the people of Nevis 9. I want to represent Nevis 9. And you know, some of these parties, and especially the NRP, they have this way, you know. They love to ridicule people, and they're very elitist. And they've had my good cousin up there in Gingerland and giving him the impression that he's going to be the candidate and so on. And now they want to go and dash the hopes and dreams of a young man in his mid-30s. And at the same time when they're dashing the hopes and dreams of a young man in his mid-30s who is putting himself out there to say, look, I can represent. And, you know, they have him out there all the time, sending him to ask questions and so on in the press conference and so on. And when they're done, they're in their chat groups, which they exclude him from. And all of them having a laugh in there and calling the gentleman all kind of names while he's out there trying his best for them. That's the type of people they are. And then a young man full of promise, they're going to come out and dash his hopes and dreams. And then you're going to have somebody who's closer to 60 than 50, if not 60 already. And you're going to say, well, he's our future. You know, it shows you the type of people that they are. And that's why the Nevision public, and I have no doubt in my mind that the Nevision public will keep them right where they are. Because nobody forget that when they realized that the public was not for them, what did they do? They hatched a diabolical plan, you know what I mean, to thwart the will of the voters. They decided husband vote for NRP, wife vote for CCM, wife name come off, husband stay on. That's what they did. When they realized people did not want them in government, they decided to manipulate the voters list. We all remember that happened. And as my good friend says, there's no change. We don't see any difference. It's the same old bus up mango and the same old bun up cane that's coming back. There's no difference. Ladies and gentlemen, that has been our show for tonight. The music is coming on, so you know what that means. The show is going to be rebroadcast tomorrow at 1 p.m. I really enjoyed the show. Thank all of you for listening. And until next time, this has been Troy Libert, and we had a wonderful time. So I'll see you next time on the Mark.